All right, we're live. I'm drinking water. Everyone can see me drink water. So we're with Jay Beswick. He's on the East Coast. There's a little bit of a storm going on there right now. A little bit of the opposite of what's going on in Southern California here right now. But yeah, we're just going to give it a few minutes and see if we get some books up. But anyway, how's your week going?
Doing pretty good. We're glad it's finally warming up because we are done with the cold weather and snow that we've had to deal with.
Yeah,
Start hitting 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah. My one employee from Ohio said he can finally see the concrete for the first time.
No, last week was a little bit rough. Not a very productive week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A lot of people are getting sick too.
Yep.
Boo.
No, that's definitely coming around.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably say this again once we get going, but it's pretty cool that we booked you on the podcast and now you're famous, right? Famous in the community after the Deck Awards.
It was definitely a fun time. It was great to be a part of everything, and we're still kind of enjoying the moments and everything. It was a large push, but after everything's all done, we're back to working and working on getting to our next Nowdra opportunities.
Yep. Yeah, I tell you what, it's when you're a business owner and you care, you're always, working towards that next goal. And then when you get there, I think it's so quick just to keep moving on, but it's also really important to just take a moment to really celebrate because you do put so much blood, sweat, and tears in your business and you deserve it.
100%. So, and the crews very much enjoyed the recognition and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, let's get rolling here. I'm sure some people end up kind of showing up as they see us live here. But let's get going. I'll kick it off. So welcome to the We Love Deck Builders podcast. I'm your host, April Edwards. And today I have an amazing guest, a little biased on that. His name is Jay Beswick, founder of Majestic Outdoors. He's got over a decade of experience designing custom outdoor spaces, and he's built a great reputation for creating stunning functional decks and patios. He's also an industry leader serving the Belgard Advisory Council and earning five North American Deck and Railing Awards just this year, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to dive into his journey, design philosophy, and what's next for outdoor living spaces. So let's get started. So I'm just going to get into it, Jay. What inspired you to start your career in deck building and outdoor design?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the podcast. And, relatively close to when I decided to be able to move down to North Carolina 20 years ago, it was really to get an itch for home improvement and carpentry, and came down and realized that when you're in North Carolina, you can build outdoors, which is a lot better than being in upstate New York. And really found that decks were something of interest. So I started with another company, and then soon started to do a little bit on my own, and really kind of was just building what I really wanted to do with the outdoor living space, not even realizing now 20 years later how big it could actually, and just trying to be able to enjoy the area. Realized a little bit that I did enjoy the artistic aspects of deck building, and even later on patio building. Even went on and got my landscape architecture degree just to be able to kind of capture some more education, and really just overall enjoy the building process. And then here we are now doing things that I never would have thought we'd be doing.
It's amazing. And so you got to love how that passion is what really brings things to life and allows you to, take things to the next level. Awesome possum. So let's talk about Majestic Outdoors, your company. How did it come to life? And, what was your vision for the company when you started it?
Well, initially, we didn't have Majestic Outdoors, and it was really just building. And then when we went to establish Majestic Outdoors, really the name came from one of my sons, in the sense of just trying to find a catchy name. I wanted something that was outdoors. I wanted what we do, because I was starting to get a feel for what I wanted. And he asked me kind of, what the projects look like. And he says, well, Dad, it kind of looks like you do a majestic backyard. And I'm like, there it is, Majestic Outdoors. The name is born. And really from there, it was more of a landscape company. We really hadn't evolved to something specific. And it was really just to make sure that we were hungry. We wanted to be able to get out there, stay busy. We had to work through a little bit of a recession, and real yards, but not knowing where it was going to go to. It was landscaping, it was maintenance, it was, so many different aspects that we can do. But then, later in life, the vision came a little bit more involved, and really wanted to try to hone in on the specific types of jobs that we do. So, we were still very hungry, but at the same time wanted to kind of maybe put aside some of those landscape aspects and maintenance. And I mean, we were doing flower beds, and it was really not something I was very passionate about. So we had to move on a little bit and make some changes and updates to really focus on the backyard. We wanted to build and eventually, make ourselves well known in the industry, or at least locally, to build some pretty nice projects. And what that looked like was still yet to be determined. But we knew we wanted to start focusing on specific aspects of our business.
I think it's interesting. I call that editing. It's like when I write something, like you write a ton, like you get it all out, and then and then you edit it to really find that.
Right. Yep.
I builder marketers. So, I mean, kind of lesson with life, right? Like you kind of learn from your experience and you tighten it up until you are where you are today, right?
Yep. Yeah. And coming from the corporate America, I did, there's the good old saying, jack of all trades. And, there were so many aspects that you would see in the business I had previously. It's like you could do so many things, but I didn't want our business to be able to become like we're doing 12 different things, but we can't do half of them right. So it's like, hey, let's get it down to a handful of items that we can do, and do them at a high level, and really make sure that we're producing a great result for homeowners.
I'm going to pause for a second, because I just think we're having a technical issue that I want to work through really quick. Okay. Louisa, did you see me happen to, Jay, did you see me happen to stumble at all? Was I freezing?
No.
You're freezing. So I don't know if it's me seeing you freeze, but really we're not freezing. I think my connection is not good. I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second, Jay.
Okay.
All right. Well, it is what it is. But we'll get to edit it with the podcast. It's just, if anyone's listening live, might be a couple of hiccups, but hopefully not. Maybe it's just me. So,
okay.
But yeah, so I'm so curious to know what how it's different. Like your approach as a business owner, like what were kind of your challenges in the beginning, and now that you've become successful, like what are the new challenges?
I think initially it was really just spinning in so many different directions and doing, one day we're building a deck, we're finishing up, or we're building a patio. And then, on Friday we're mowing a lawn, and we're going and doing maintenance, and we're moving stuff around. We're not organized in a fashion. So it really felt like that great experience for homeowners, because we're not 100% focused. So as we've kind of narrowed down our specialties and what we really want to focus on, now it's really just stepping up what we can do in building a high performing deck, a well organized patio, something that's really going to be amazing for the outdoor living space. And then we even have to take it one more level. We're trying to work internally to be able to get a whole lot better with systems and processes, building a website and being able to have media following and joining events and be able to collaborate with other contractors and companies. Those are really where the priorities are of making sure that we can really work at a very high level and have even a better, experience for homeowners.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how it becomes more of the intangibles that make an indirect impact to your business that become a real important thing to focus on as you evolve.
Right.
Building those partnerships and refining those systems and processes. We talk about it all the time, but I would say it's more of like obviously getting more efficient with things so that you can spend more time doing the things that bring you joy, the things that are important instead of mundane. And then also, just enabling you to, like I said, just kind of be your best.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good
And
stuff
and
there.
that and now we're just looking at trying to, how can we take it to the next level? So even current challenges we may have, it might be the fact that, when we're focused so much on providing, composite and PVC products and everything, we don't build with wood anymore. We don't resurface, and that could be a comment says, my joists look great from the underside, which they all look great from the underside, but it's when you take them apart and you're going to rebuild the deck, and you can't expect the old lumber to perform as well as you can with the investment you're putting into all the composite and PVC, the new railings and stuff. Who knows how the house was built with the deck previously. And there are some companies that like to resurface. If that's their business model, great, that's fine. We just have we rebuild. We can also redesign your deck, and now we can make it more of what you're looking for, and that's our goal, is really design. So we're not made for everybody, and that can be a challenge. We don't want to turn down work necessarily, but we need to make sure it's the right fit for us.
Yeah, and that you've had to figure that out over the years, right? Like resurfacing is not your jam,
Right.
Staining, obviously probably not, but maybe at
No.
one time you did things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good feeling to really know what brings you joy, what you're good at, and then to just really get targeted with that. And I think that a lot of people fall in that trap of like wanting to have every opportunity that comes to them. And I can say from a marketing perspective, the more targeted you could get with your approach will really set you apart. If
Right.
you are like back in the day when you were selling maintenance programs versus landscaping, it's hard to know where you really shine if you're offering both, but eventually realized where you were most passionate and could make the biggest impact. And for us, doing your marketing, it's made it a lot easier to pull out your secret sauce and share it with the world too. So anyone listening, sit down. Like if you really are kind of doing everything, why don't you sit down and really just figure out what you ideally want? And you don't have to say no to everything. Eventually you earn the privilege of being able to do that, but even in your marketing and stuff like that, you can put what you really want to do in the forefront.
Right. Right. And sometimes it can even make it easier when you've got somebody that maybe they do handyman stuff and build a deck and things like that they're good at certain things, but they may not be as knowledgeable and good at the things that the homeowner's looking for. So when the homeowner's looking for it, it's like, hey, hopefully when they see us, they say this is a serious company, they know how to build decks, and hopefully we can be able to convey that and improve it when we're out on site.
Yeah, there's a lot of trust in that. A
Right.
lot of trust.
Yep.
So why don't I guess I'm interested to know, I feel like the last few years there's been just a lot of advancements in the industry with different trends. What do you think, there are certain things that homeowners, I feel like I know what you're going to say. Okay, we didn't talk about all this before the podcast, by the way. I don't know what he's going to say, but I feel like I know what you're going to say.
All right.
So, what do you think are the biggest trends that both homeowners and deck builders should consider moving forward?
Well, definitely what materials that you're using. We heavily focus on the TimberTech products, and definitely choose to be able to have that, versus the wood options and everything. Technology is a big thing. Being able to have the ability to control, lighting and your outdoor, elements. It adds such a great ambiance to the outdoor living space. We kind of fell on it, a little bit by accident, but then it's been a great with structure. But that has definitely been a heavy trend because, homeowners are looking for some different options. Maybe they don't quite understand what the louvered roof offers, but when you can be able to show them and be able to explain to them some of the major advantages. Had a call with a homeowner earlier today based on the fact that they were looking for a 3-season room, and they're having a challenge with, impervious allowances. And now we've got something that can pretty much give them plus more a little bit what they're looking for and experience the outdoor living space. And especially because we're looking to start with a whole brand new deck. We can, build it to whatever size and space that they're looking for, but to be able to include that dining room, that living room, maybe a fire feature, maybe just heaters, just so many aspects that they're really looking to be able to build upon and have for their outdoor space.
Yeah, it's almost like the options are endless. It's really like having the homeowners stop thinking about all of the things that they could have and really figuring out how they're going to use the space. And then you're the magician that could come in and design it based off of their needs and put in all these like new, features and advancements.
Right. And it's still a good feeling to be able to hear when you're having that on-site meeting, when you're really getting a vibe for what the homeowner is looking for, and you've done maybe some pre-qualificating and making sure that you're going to be the right fit. But when you're out there, they haven't seen how that has. Nobody's brought that up to me before. Those are great key elements that I love to be able to hear, because it's like, okay, now we're syncing. Now we're probably vibing the right way, that we can be able to provide you, your best experience.
We have so P. Clark Decking left a comment. He said, have you gone down the steel and aluminum subframe route yet?
Oh yes. Our main manufacturer of TimberTech has unveiled the aluminum framing. And we have been involved a little bit with the introduction to it. And now that it's come to market and all the different aspects of availability have come, we are pushing heavy right now to be able to bring that to market. We have one job that's currently ready to break ground in a couple of weeks. And then in another month or so, we'll have another job that we can do. And it was really the goal was we're going to, is important because it was the homeowner's forever home, and they're going to stay there. They value the fact that, pretty much we're going to offer a lifetime warranty on this deck. And that's been one of our inside goals to be able to do, but we need to get experience with it. We have never done anything with steel. It's really only been the aluminum. We had one small project in the ground back in the fall, but at the same time too, we just feel this is going to be the new era of alternative framing, and we want to be heavily on top of it. We want to be exclusive with it. Who knows? And other companies are trying to embrace it and maybe don't believe in it or anything like that. When it takes off, we can hopefully be years ahead of others in the market.
Yeah, and I mean, I would back that up by just trying to encourage and motivate everyone that lead the narrative. If it's something you want to do, push it in the forefront. Make sure that you're explaining that you offer that and that it's something that a homeowner should consider. On your website and, with all of your marketing, social media and stuff like that. We have a client that I mean, we do project pages for all of our clients, and he's got an amazing case study essentially on one of his projects that it's like steel wins the show. And that's how we say it, and it's
Right.
like, as a homeowner, if you go and, you're trying to understand what you need and who you should be working with, if you're making it really easy for them to consider things they weren't even aware about, then there's some power in that where you're controlling the narrative. So when somebody comes to his page and they see steel wins the show, it's like, oh, I didn't even know that steel framing was an option,
Yeah.
and it's interesting how I talk to so many builders that, I mean, I love what we do as a marketing agency, because we really just get to pull out everybody's brilliance and juicy nuggets and make them shine. It's a pretty cool job, but yeah, take a step back and make sure that you are controlling the narrative and adding information all over your stuff about specific things that you do and offer, educate.
And it's not for everybody, but composite decking's not for everybody. Some decks, all the different things that are available, for building an outdoor space is not for everybody, but we like to be able to go based on the fact that it's going to be a high performing deck. It's a high quality deck. We're not quantity based. It's more about the projects that we do that are really within our wheelhouse. And there's a lot of other companies that we personally know, and they have, to me, their volume of decks is something that I can't wrap my head around with, but you give me a super intricate up in the morning and get going and really, work on the design and build. And the team we have around us is very excited too and motivated.
That's awesome. I mean, you could do brilliant things together when you have a good culture and are all on the same page.
Yeah.
That's a testimony, man. It's really good. So we have Moss Building Solutions. He gave you 3 thumbs up on that answer. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
We got another one in. Chad Furley said, have you tried the treated LVL subframe or stringers?
We have, typically if we're going to deal with longer spans, in many cases, we like to build our decks to be able to have drop girders. And we know by code, let's say you could span, 17 feet, but we also know there's going to be a lot of deflection in that. So sometimes the treated LVLs are going to be stronger to get that kind of span. If we decide that based on the design, if they're going to use that space underneath, that a drop girder is not going to work. But then the treated LVL is beams, laminated beams that you can do to be able to have bigger openings, so you don't have as many posts. So, great aspect to be, considering that and designing and building with those items, and trying it out, just seeing for yourself if those, when you've got the framing all together and using that, what it feels like. I always like to say, hey, we can have a karaoke dance stage on our decks, and it's not going to move.
Well, maybe that should be a good little post-project party that you offer for your clients. Sounds fun. All right, cool. So let's get back to the business side of things. I'm interested to know, what are some challenges that you faced? This is the raw stuff. This is the raw part of the podcast, you guys. What are some of the challenges you faced in the industry, and how have you overcome them?
Well, sometimes it's how the project is built. Again, we talked about the resurfacing aspect and being able to do, composite and PVC, and really being able to look at what you're doing to best protect the investment of the homeowner and provide them with a positive product. So once we get kind of back to the fact that we're building from scratch, we're using the best lumber that we can have available to us, and building it in a high performing way, right down to our joist spacing and everything like that, and making it good, then we know we're going to have a positive product. But at the same time too, schedule up in many cases with scheduling based on weather, nothing with material problems and things like that. But that is one of the hardest things to really flow, because everybody comes out around the same point in time to want to get their project started. Sometimes they're a little later than we would hope for. And this is the time of year they want them ready for spring. They want them ready for summer. And that becomes a little challenging to kind of figure out how we can, be able to do all that. And then internally, it was only a couple of years ago that we started to help us with that, and it's been fantastic. From there, we hadn't had software.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time? What did you have?
Website.
Oh, okay.
So being able to have a website to be able to show the work that we're doing and everything that's available, and understanding what Google and the value of that is. It wasn't until a little more than a year ago we didn't have software. So our quoting process was really, pen and paper style, and love it. And, so many different aspects is making the business better. How we communicate on job sites. We utilize Company Cam. Company Cam integrates with everybody and everything. How our CRM system comes through that you help us out with, and the fact that how all those integrate together, and how we can finally understand how technology is really benefiting. And it's slowly making our jobs easier to where now we can be like, okay, we've got things under control and we're taking it to the next level. Understand how we can better be able to understand our business and have clarity in our business, and be able to join with a very popular group in the industry.
So Chad Furley said, that's awesome. Great answer. And I think that was before you were talking about systems and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that I wanted to kind of go back to a conversation we were talking about earlier with the systems, is that I think when you could really refine that stuff, then you could start to work on processes and thinking in terms of like, excuse me, how can I mitigate potential issues from happening? Mm-hmm. I think that it really empowers you to be able to, especially as your business grows, like, figure out how to catch things before they happen. And I think that's really what separates the pros from, everyone else in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And as a business owner, as we've probably heard a lot of times, we wear a lot of hats, and we need to be able to take off those hats, trust the people that are around us to be able to, hire the right people, or promote the right people, or just put people in the right positions. And, I took the tool belt off a little while ago, and it was a great feeling, but at the same time, a nerve-wracking feeling, because I was always, out there building. But if I wasn't for the fact that our teams, I couldn't trust that they can handle it, then I wouldn't feel as comfortable, and I do. And, I can step back now. I can focus more internally and realize, okay, we got these things that I need to fix. We got these things we need to fix. So it's like we're trying to little by little, and trust the process.
It's a good feeling, right? I think you get to a point where you're like, I have something here. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not going to fail. I know it's not going to fail. Like, I don't have to be worried about that. I know no matter what I do, it's going to get better and better. That type of confidence is amazing as a business owner, isn't it?
Yes. And even learning how to say no.
Yes.
Gosh, that's a welcoming change. I learned, not that long ago, but it's like, it's a positive to be able to learn how to say no, because that, you can feel comfortable with.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. It's a very delicate thing. And I say, just always be resourceful. I mean, even if you're not a good fit, like, point them in the right direction,
Right.
But I do think that's a pivotal moment when, well, like, if you guys realize, anyone listening, if you realize you're saying no more than yes, I think you've made it. You've earned the privilege of being selective.
Nobody teaches you. It comes organically, and it's amazing once you finally figure out how to say it and what to say it to, and just the processes in place.
Good stuff. We got another comment here. I love this. Great. So P. Clark Decking said, do you think the deck tape will die out with steel subframe breaking through the market?
Well, there is a little bit of that aspect. This past quarter, we haven't ordered as much as we normally do, because we do have some aluminum projects in there. And that's, there's still value. We still feel like we're going to be building with wood, so we still need to be able to keep that, aspect there. But yeah, once you start dealing with aluminum or steel framing, or even some of the, aspects, you don't need joist tape anymore. So you may not be ordering it nearly as much.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to follow up on something before too, and I hope that answered your question, P. Clark Decking. So let us know, and please, by all means, everybody, keep your questions coming. What are you're using something to a software to do your estimates and manage your projects, right?
Yes. Yep.
Do you mind telling everybody what you're using?
No, 100%. I embrace it and I promote it everywhere we go. A couple deck expos ago, and there's another backstory to even how this came about. I was having a hard time trying to find a good, robust quoting system that we can use to help manage ours. Thought I had one, but I knew it's like, I'm going to Deck Expo. I got to find something. And I was on a mission that day. And I met the team out there, met Eric. He sold me in a minute. I saw the system. It came to life, and it was just that aha moment. And I have loved it ever since. But I also have, the helps of it, which is important because I can't be the one spending all my time trying to get all the data entry in there. I need to be out there. I want to be out there with the homeowners quoting and stuff like that. So 100%. And then especially they built a relationship with TimberTech and all the integrations work and it just flows so smooth. The support that they give you is wonderful. We've gone to boot camps with them before. We traveled down to Dallas, Texas, and done the boot camps. And, there's just so much support, which is just reassuring that we have the right, company involved with it. And it's just going to get bigger and better. A couple of weeks ago, we were at a TimberTech summit. So we had to make some choices with that, but we're looking forward to, whatever the next events that they have. And it's a great group of people that work with you, and they're like-minded, very passionate.
Yeah. And they're always at Deck Expo, and Eric is just down to earth dude. He's the founder. And I mean, everybody has great things to say about them. So I thought it would be great to plug them for a second, but yep. Their UI is great. The support you get is amazing, and they're constantly innovating. And now they have the Job Shred Connect conference, which I've gotten feedback from other deck builders that it's one of the best not to miss conferences out there because they have a lot of people come in and do education and stuff like that. Yes. So really great software. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Highly recommended. I promote it everywhere we go. I just wish there was a couple more people in my market that I could actually sit down and have discussions with about it, because we're trying to learn, so much more. They got Facebook groups, and show some of their, quoting, formats.
It looks like we've got another one from P. Clark Decking. He said, yeah, great. We're UK based. Our market is massively different to the USA. So great. We got some folks from over the pond listening in. Look at you making an impact to people globally here. It's good stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Hello to the
UK. Well, okay. I guess I got to ask, since you brought up the website, you have a great reputation in the industry because of several things, which I actually want to go over here in a couple of minutes. But I'm curious what marketing strategies have been most effective for growing your business and attracting your ideal clients.
Well, definitely when we went back to try to be able to, create the website, it was really just a huge trust factor that I had in you guys to be able to help. And it was probably why I held off on doing a website for the longest time. I didn't have the trust factor. Maybe they're just doing a little bit in the evening time and they're not going to be full force. So, with y'all, there's, a constant fresh look at how the website is. All the initial information is out there, but then at the same time too, keeping it up to date, relevant, and marketing with those aspects, linking into, a huge aspect of getting Google reviews and how strong that is. That's our closing on jobs, is talking about those Google reviews and then I love hearing the feedback from homeowners that says, hey, we chose you based on your reviews and the way that you perceive in your job site. You didn't fail us. This has been wonderful. And all the crew around you. So So that marketing aspect with the website and Google reviews is strong. But then really just trying to be more design build. So we really market ourselves to be able to give you, from the moment we have our conversation, the full process of, we do designing in-house. We're going to hubs, but we have everything's pretty much in-house of how we do it. And then at the same time too, all the different products we offer, which really grew us into our showroom. We had a small location that we opened up 3 years ago, and then we knew real fast that we were going to outgrow that. So it was just kind of biding my time to where I felt like I could find the right spot. Now we've got a very large showroom that we've got massive amounts of decking. We've got pavers. We've got 3 pergolas. We've got outdoor kitchens. So now when you come made of, and sometimes that could be the first step once we get off the call. Hey, let's schedule a time period. Come down to the showroom. Let's show you everything that we can do. Let's talk more about how we can build out your new amazing backyard and everything. And I think that's a huge differentiator in the market, because in our local area, it's not really happening like that. And we, again, we need to be able to make sure that we're extremely effective with how we use it. And it has a back shop, so the crews can be able to have areas to pre-build our pergolas, store materials, have like that too. So we've got, it's really working out well.
Yeah, I have the pleasure of speaking with deck builders all across the country. And there's a couple that I've spoken to in the last couple of weeks where, man, their location for their showroom is bringing them good business, because it's like everyone drives by, and they actually built a deck on the roof.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's like, it's great advertising just to have a good location. I think we should probably have a podcast episode on how having a showroom has made such an impact in, people's business.
Yeah. And we've seen some, the world of Instagram and social media has brought together, the vision of what people do all across the US. So it's also great to see how other people, build out their showrooms, because it's really one of those things, you kind of wing it. And it, you don't want it to look necessarily like a home show necessarily. You want it to be very, lived in kind of feel, when people, they're feeling very welcomed when they come in and everything. And, again, this is the area where you're making your selection. And then at the same time too, you're able to get a feel for some things that you maybe never even knew you needed. Like, what does your lighting look like on your railings? Well, I've got 4 different styles here that I can show you. I got 6 different color and style variations of your railings. It's like, it's all right here. We can build and figure out your whole entire project right now.
I feel like we should come up with a different name for it other than showroom. It's like your dream, I got to think about that. It's like your visionary platform or something.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of thinking design studio, but
Yes.
I don't know. That might be a little generic. Yeah.
No, it's perfect. That's great. I love it. All right, let's
by appointment only. We don't have anyone staff full time yet, but that's a future goal.
Yep. So, one step at a time, baby, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So yeah, let's talk about your industry involvement a little bit. I'm interested to just learn more about you being on that Belgard Advisory Council. So you work with pros from across the country. What insights have you gained from that experience?
Yeah, so Belgard has been a great relationship that we've had for 15, 16 years, very easily. From the first day we built our first patio, and I really didn't know much of how it worked. So through that time, we've built some great relationships internally with Belgard. Just like the timber tech world, you have your statuses, and we're a platinum contractor for them. Well, generally based on your status, that is our brand of choice. So we choose to learn all the different aspects and products that they have, but be involved with research and development and things like that. So a few years ago, they created the Belgard Advisory Council, and there was a previous era, and right around COVID, where they had another group that started it, and then they went ahead, they left, and then we were brought on, and it was one person per each territory. So there's a total of 12 of us that's from West Coast, it's down south, it's up north, it's Midwest, and everywhere. So it gives us all a chance to kind of get in a room, and we'll sit down with, right on up to the president of Oldcastle to really hash out how things are going. What do we see in the streets? What do we need to be able to do to improve? What do we like and not like? And people listen. We've voiced some areas that we'd love to see improved, and they listen, and they're working through them. And then we've done research and develop some developing aspects when it comes to different style of pavers or different types of retaining walls and things like that, and give our input of whether we like it, we don't. And it could be, in California, it's a lot different than it is here in North Carolina. Those products may work there. I don't think it'll work here, something like that, or vice versa. Right down to, we helped innovate InstaDeck, which is a moisture shield product. And that's, they're with Oldcastle. And, we had involvement with how paver contractors, how do we install it? Because it's going to be on the ground, and, be able to have input. Again, people from all across the US and Canada are having their input. And even though I'm a timber tech guy, I still had some input on it. And we actually did an InstaDeck project just a few months ago and everything. And it was great to be able to experience, because it's like, this is something we were developing. Now I've got it in my hands. I got to build it. And, I also want to give them feedback to, hey, how positive was it? How negative was it? And how did it go? And everything. And it's like, this is a pretty neat, providing what the homeowner was looking for because of impervious. But I wouldn't have that opportunity if I didn't, wasn't part of the advisory council. And then, you get to learn and know people that are higher in the industry, corporate aspects, and even gave us a great opportunity this past summer to be part of the HGTV Dream Home. So, that was something that if I wasn't part of that, I may have not gotten that opportunity, because when I got that phone call from the people and they say, hey, we want you to be the contractor, you're going to do the driveway, and it's going to be for the HGTV home, and here's all the elements you got to do. And I'm like, I'm not passing up this opportunity.
That's so cool. I want to talk about that more, but I also I think it's amazing that companies do things like that to get real feedback, so that it shows that they care, right? To have an advisory panel. Even software companies, like, I don't know if JobTread has it, but a lot will. You could submit your ideas for things, and like, their developers will go through it once a week and like figure out which ones they're actually going to move forward with. So we live in a world where you don't need to be quiet. Like,
hey, there's a platform for that.
Send that in. Right. If you have more power than you think you do. But if you want to make a change in this world, you can't just sit around. You need to voice it up.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things that really pushes them along, because they're able to kind of take what's happening in the field, make it happen, create integrations, bring on, there's constantly new companies. It's hard to keep up with how many different companies they've integrated with. But it's there.
So tell us more about, you've got a lot of great things going on. This is going to be your year for sure, right?
Yeah.
Tell us, let's start. We got a few places to go here, guys, but let's start with the HGTV thing. Like, why don't you give us a little overview of what you're up to there?
Yeah. So, New Year's Day is when they unveil it, and we built it back in the summertime. My crew were very energetic and willing. We had to stay out of town. And embarking on some aspects that we've never done before. We've never been part of a house that's being built at the same time we're trying to do the backyard. A pool's being built, and there is no timeline. It's get it done now. And there's painters one way. There's a carpenter coming over here. The landscapers are trying to get in, and we got equipment going here. And it's, and it was just, I spent majority of time just orchestrating everything that had to go. Meanwhile, got to sit down and really work on the design. We have the conceptual aspects, and then we really have to be able to make sure there's going to be 1,000 eyes on this. They already filmed part of the idea at the beginning. So when we were building like the outdoor kitchen, it had to replicate exactly like they filmed. And if I couldn't make any changes to it, I had to make it happen within the space that we were working with. So just, a lot of fun challenges. It was definitely stressful, but the timelines were tight. And then, really that kicked off our year and, unveiled it for New Year's Day and everything.
So Chris
So
Breen
definitely.
said, sorry, a little overlap with the delay, but Chris Breen said, Chris Breen from Legacy Decks and Legacy Decks Academy, he said, Jay, winning the NADRA Deck Builder of 2024. So we've got a lot to talk about with that, but I want to go back in time because you were kind of nominated. I don't know if that's the right word to use, to be on the cover of this month's Deck Specialist magazine, right?
You mean this one here?
I love it.
Yes,
Look at it.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, there's a great article on page 20 that is one of our epic builds that we did. And then also at the same time, April, you have a very wonderful article in here also.
Thanks for the
so,
plug.
yeah. So, Dream Home, we're building, the crews are back home building this epic project that's happening simultaneously. So I was very much torn towards two of our, best projects that we've ever built, trying to be able to get it all done. So, with that, what we've kind of labeled as our epic build, that gave us a lot of opportunities. And one of them was with IG Rail. So a couple deck expos ago, one of the other things outside of trying to find software is I wanted to find some more, and not that I want to go against the brand that we choose, but certain brands can't carry everything. So I really was trying to find a frameless glass, system. Found IG Rail, excuse me, and also spent some time talking with Bobby Parks and the glass panels, the light integration, and everything. And I just said, I'm going to find a project to build with this. I'm just going to seek it. It was only a few months later where I thought I found it, and we ended the epic build. And then from there, through our supplier, American Cedar and Millwork, they were helping us get to IG Rail and bring it to market and have it stocked in our local area. And then that jumped into, IG Rail, and then they found Deck Specialists and Sarah, and it just started a whole wave of things and everything. And I'm like, oh gosh, what have we gotten ourselves into and everything like that. And that was a fun process. So that's, just recently got into a cover, but now I've never been on the cover and everything like that with one of our projects. So we love the relationship at IG Rail. They've been fantastic. And it was a fun project.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have got deck-specialist.com in the ticker here. You guys could go there and get a free subscription, like a physical magazine. Can you believe it? Anytime. So it's a free magazine, and they, if you want to check out Jay's article and the recent edition, you could go there and see digital issues as well. And I think when you sign up to be a subscriber, you automatically get added into their email list. I'm sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's some other way, but just get the magazine. It's free, and it's got a lot of amazing things in there. And as a matter of fact, we just had the editor, Sarah Graves, on the podcast, I think last week. So
yes. Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. All you have to do is just go online, sign up for it, and you'll get it. I think it's bi-monthly.
So Chad Furley said, congratulations. Really cool. But that's not it, guys. There's more. So just like Chris Breen said, Jay was the top winner at the Deck Awards this year. And I got to tell you, it was so exciting. I got to sit next to Jay and his wife, and it was like, it was really cool to share that moment with you and just see the excitement on your faces and see you guys get wore out from having to keep walking up the stage. And I'm just being sarcastic. They weren't wore out, but they did probably get some good exercise. He won 5 awards, and It was a beautiful thing. And I'll just tell you a little something, something. I hope you're okay if I say this, but it was the cutest thing that your grandkids were texting you as it was happening. It was just so beautiful because
Yeah.
you guys, listen to me. Owning a business is hard. And nobody starts a business thinking they're looking for awards. But it is
Nope.
pretty nice to get, kind of recognized a little bit. It's
Yeah.
got to feel good, and you deserve everything. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
So, we've been a member with Nadra for several years now, but never made it to the event. Um, and being at this event was very eye opening because I love collaborating. I love being able to spend time with other like minded, contractors and companies. And there were so many people that were there in the audience that I've inspired to be like, and to be able to have our projects look like that. So, and even initially all the projects, and I remember just sitting back in my chair watching them, and I turned to my wife and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to be able to keep up with some of these projects. They are amazing. And, just I'm sitting in the same room with so many different people that inspired to have projects like, and it's like, let's just roll with it. And then, we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we just keep going. And it's like, but it's like, hey, I just hope at the end of the day, we've had so much fun. And again, time to get back to work, time to build, our next great project. We knew what our epic project was probably going to, it could do pretty well, but there's, a lot of competition. But at the same time, too, we just also hope that there's some inspiration that goes out to the next generation of deck builders that can sit there. If you told me 5 years ago that I was going to be able to be up there on stage winning awards for all these projects, like, yeah, I don't think so. And, but we've taken, the benefits that we've received from all that, from our hard work over the past 5 years of trying to create awesome projects, is paying off. And then just the humbling experience afterwards, and the conversations that we can have with people. And then just for the simple fact of our teams that put their blood, sweat, and tears in these projects, and to get recognized. It's like, hey, I'm just the one up there that puts the crazy ideas out there. They have to build it, and they do, and they put a lot of heart into it.
So what was it like when you went back? And I mean, I don't know, like what did you guys have a big celebration? What were some of the things that your crew said?
Well, definitely they had a chance to be able to watch the video, aspect of it. So they definitely, there was no surprises at the end of the night. They kind of knew what things were like and everything like that. But yeah, we're going to be able to sit down and have a big celebration here in the next couple of weeks. Now that the weather's kind of broken and we're all kind of back there, because we've had some other travels that we've done and everything. So we're going to be able to sit down and really celebrate it. But everyone, very much enjoys, being a part of it and getting some great recognition. So
It's awesome. Very cool.
yeah.
So maybe this next year, I don't know if I'm going to get you in trouble, but maybe you could bring your crew to the Deck Awards and then they could go up on stage too.
Yes. Yeah. We've already kind of talked a little bit about it, because we're working on some design builds right now that could be very epic. And we've got a couple projects that are getting ready to break ground. It's like, hey, these could be our next, claim to fame type projects.
It's cool. It sounds like it, it kind of inspired you to keep going and pushing more boundaries and building even better things for this next year to come.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a lot of fun with what we do. And that's what even makes it more special.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cassandra, Cassandra was,
do what?
Sorry, you go. I think you were breaking up for me, so I started talking over you. So I'm sorry, but you go.
And not only were we able to be able to meet a lot of the contractors and be a part of that, but for the simple fact that our manufacturers were there. TimberTech had a strong presence, as TimberTech, Jeff and I were joking around that we were getting our steps in that night, and that they made a strong presence in the industry. And then with IG, we had a chance to really get to know each other during that night, and it's just made a fun relationship, after that, and then be able to come down and it's a very humbling experience.
Very cool. So Cassandra, she was our old account strategist at Deck Builder Marketers. Did you work with her?
Briefly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
She's working with my other company and really doing a great job. And we got amazing things coming for that company this year. But anyway, she was listening in and she said, "Got to jump off, but I love seeing how great things are going for you, Jay. Congratulations and cheers to an amazing 2025."
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And then we got a couple more. Chad Furley said, "Jay, I'll see you at the Deck Expo or in Vegas or IBS. I'll be at both."
All right. Sounds good. Won't
I
be able
don't
to make
know.
IBS this year, but Deck Expo, we've already looked at flights. So
I don't know what PWT means. Does that mean I'm old or too young? What's PWT? Do we know? Do you know?
yeah,
You don't know what it is?
I think it's just the manufacturer.
PWT. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Learning something new. All right. So he also said, "Congratulations."
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So
Jay, just in case. Okay, I'm here.
I'm here.
But anyway, in case you guys didn't hear that, Chad Furley said congratulations again, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we talked about the HDTV thing enough. And I know that people can actually go and try and tell people what they could do. How can they be involved? How can they get in on this?
Yeah. So as long as you're not a direct relationship to me, everybody else in the world can go to HGTV and be able to sign up for their sweepstakes. It goes until the middle of the ocean is in South Carolina, and it's on a beautiful golf course. So you can be able to sign up to win it. And with the house, you've got I forget the brand SUV. There's a golf course or golf cart, golf simulator. They've got green fees, all covered for you to be a member at the golf club. And the house is completely furnished. So it's got all the elements that you need. And it's really
That's cool. Count
yeah.
me in. I'm gonna go for it.
Go for it.
Let's see. So, Chad said Pacific Wood Tech. So just so we know. Thank you. Let's see. I think we had another question here, and then we got to get wrapping up. But so P. Clark Decking said, "Have you used Millboard yet, and how do you think it will hit the U.S. market?"
I have not. I have seen it. Of cases that we're focused on, what our manufacturer has to offer, but I think it's got an interesting aspect and element to the texture of the deck board, and it definitely will have its spot. We just haven't had a chance to utilize it yet, but we love to be able to learn more about it.
More to come. Feel free to add things in the comments because, this will be available after the live session, and, we could continue the conversation in the comments. So we all want to learn more about Millboard. So let us know.
Definitely.
I thought we had one other. Let me scroll through here. Okay. I think that's our last comment for now. So I'm interested to know. Here, I'm going to keep that link up for you can go. Okay, hold on. There it is. Okay, there we go. I'm interested. I always like to, we get to a point where giving back is a passion, right? Like I think we owe it to others in the industry to do that. And so I always like to ask, what advice would you give to an aspiring deck builder looking to grow in this industry?
I think some of the biggest aspects that we have learned is, as we talked about earlier, being able to pick out your specialty, being able to kind of work aspect of just outdoor living in general, that you really want to be able to focus on, when it comes to, building decks. If wood decks is what you're going to be passionate about, build them at a high level. See if you can create your own particular style. We're trying to still figure out a little bit what our styles are. And if you want to be able to build with composite and PVC, it's a higher level of aspect and with that. But I'm very passionate about picking our brands. I like to be able to know everything about what we have to offer to, know what they have to do. Stay educated, be able to make sure that you can learn, go to these events. You can pick up so much, from them. We go to, we've got our Belgard summits that we do every year. We've got our TimberTech summits. We got our structure summits that we do. And we make time to go to the Deck Expo. We'd love to be able to go to IBS one of these years. HNA is an event that we do that's part of the patio and landscaping world. So get to know all those, to learn so much and just evolve yourself around, the industry. But even on a local level, network, get to know your dealers, get to know who your local sales reps are, and the local manufacturers or regional reps. Collaborate with other contractors. With that, we feel is so strong. We do that in our area to where we have a Christmas party with some of our local contractors, and we choose to collaborate and not compete against each other. Just there's just so much you can learn. With.
I think there's a lot to be said about, not feeling threatened by the competition and wanting to collaborate. I mean, that takes, I think, a lot of confidence in yourself and your business and what you're doing. I think that really speaks a lot about you as a person, as a business owner and a company.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's a piece of the pie for everybody out there, and it could be a territorial thing. And the other company, they cover the west side and they can refer work back and forth and everything. So there's so many different aspects. It could just be, maybe they got 15 years experience and you've only got a few and you're trying to learn from them and stuff like that too. There's so much to be a part of. So yeah, definitely get to know, focus on a specialty and get to know your people that can help you. I mean, from our suppliers, they help us tremendously.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big theme, what I'm hearing from you is really just to get out there and to leverage partnerships and network and learn and, keep moving forward. And, I think the people that hide are, at a disadvantage, and you're doing a lot that doesn't have, it's not like, I'll tell you this. First of all, I've got nadra.org on the screen here because that is the Deck Expo and the Deck Awards / Deck Summit. They just did amazing mastermind panels in Clearwater at the summit and the awards. They're doing a lot of things. And so join nadra.org. It's not nadra.org, but go to the website, nadra.org, and join. And I'll tell you, I hear people that are like, I don't really know what's in it for me. And it's like, really? You don't want to participate and, in moving the industry forward and networking and learning new things, maybe getting a new certificate, becoming a deck inspector. Like there's so much that they offer, and you can't always look at these things as what am I going to get out of in return? You're doing a lot of things, and the universe, God, whatever your jam is giving, like you're paying it forward and you're getting back in return, right? Like what's the quote? Like you get back what you give.
Yeah. And even just, again, really been trying to make sure that we go, and we're already trying to make plans to go next year, but it's just, yes, we did win some great awards and we got a lot of great recognition, but it's the conversations that you have afterwards. And when people come up to congratulate you and they ask you questions, how did you do this? Or how did you do that? Or what was your challenges with this? And it's like, hey, I just hope I can be a little bit of an inspiration for the next person to be able to build awesome backyards. It's just, it's a great humbling feeling and a lot of fun and great people in the industry.
Well, I think this was amazing, Jay. I really appreciate your time. I think that you just shared so much, and my goal was to present you to the world, and hopefully you inspire some folks. And I think mission accomplished. So thank you for your time.
Yep. Yeah. No, thank you very much for having us on. And, again, thank you very much for being able to be, the forefront of our marketing of how we do it. And for those of you that are not using Deck Builders Marketing, please take the time, set up a call with April. She will guide you through the process, and they are extremely helpful. A lot of trust in them because I didn't have trust in the past. Now I found them and them too. So if you don't have, a good marketing strategy, a website and all that stuff, they will help you 100%.
Well, since you brought it up, I guess I'll do a little plug. So if you are interested in moving forward or just getting some advice on your marketing, I really am here to help, which is why I wrote the book on it. So you guys could go on the website too, deckbuildermarketers.com/book. Pretty soon we're going to be offering this for free to everybody. Right now you can get it on Amazon. And you could always book a 1-hour marketing review and strategy session with me on the website, big green button at the top, deckbuildermarketers/get started. So, but enough about me. I wanted to let everybody know where they could go to connect with you. I've got majesticpatiodeck.com, so people could check out your website and your work. But yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to you, what would be the best way?
Definitely through there. You could be able to reach us and message us through Instagram and the next industry events.
Awesome. Well, let's see. Hold on. We still have a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Peak framing. How were your first couple months, first couple jobs? Got to take you way back.
Oh, in the industry?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could still remember the very first patio we put in the ground. I remember the very first day I put on a tool belt because when I had come down to North Carolina, I didn't have a lot of carpentry experience, but I can remember the very first, but I also very much remember the first screen porch that I built and how afraid of heights I was. So that was definitely an experience with that one there. I kind of realized I'm better on the ground.
My palms are sweating just hearing that.
Yeah, yep, definitely. Now, and even the crews know I don't see the top side of the deck till they have deck boards down. I'm not the one walking across all the joists.
That's cool. Well, thanks again. Chad Furley also said thank you. Really appreciate your time. So yeah, you could hit up Jay on any
great bookmark of the month.
Say it one more time.
A great, this has been a fantastic month, but a great way to be able to end it and save the best for last.
Love it. Really, really proud of everything that you've done. You should be too. Thanks so much, Jay.
No problem. Thank you.